This April 2026 free miniature of the month from Games Workshop was painted only using 1 Vallejo and 9 Citadel products. XPS foam and a Greenstuff World texture roller were used to make the base, and Tamiya Extra Thin Cement was used for melting the plastic to plug gaps. The cleanup of the model, assembly, gap filling, building an XPS foam base topper, and priming white by brush took a little longer than an hour of active work. With the primer fully dried, I used contrast paints for my base coats. This is the first time that I've used contrast paint since the very first 2 miniatures I painted on the channel in 2022. On top of that, these are the newer formulations, so this will be a new experience for me, or at least that's what I thought. Ultimately, it pretty much felt the same as using the Army Painter speed paints that I'm accustomed to. For the flesh, I just wanted a sickly green appearance, so I added a lighter tone to one side of the model, and most of the top, to give the impression of a brighter light source on that side. And on the other side, I applied a darker green. I followed the same logic for the leathers and fur, again adding a lighter contrast paint to the side and top where my imagined light source would reach, and then a darker tone where the light source couldn't reach directly. When I got to the bone and cloth, I had to deviate a little, mixing in some basic yellow acrylic with one of the greenish contrast paints for the base coat, that I would later build up to be a dirty stained white cloth that I can highlight up later. The whole idea I had for this video was using a limited number of paints, which I chose my limit to be at a total of 10 bottles. I was going to mix the red, yellow, and blue that I chose for my paint palette to make a brown, but I figured I literally just bought these contrast paints, so I'm going to use them as much as reasonably possible. Moving on to the base, I just randomly used the 4 contrast paints already on my palette, applying the lighter tones first and then the darkest around the feet and down into the deepest crevices of the masonry. I finish up with what I'm calling my base coating by using a reddish purple to add deeper shadows. Up until now, I had not been thinning these contrast paints at all. They were pretty transparent right out of the bottle, which is something I especially liked. This burgundy, however, was a good bit more opaque in comparison, which was great for the gums but far too harsh for shading the flesh. After a few attempts at mixing different amounts of water, I found what felt like a decent ratio without leaving an insane amount of staining, and applied this more as of a controlled wash. I did absolutely end up with some bad stains, but nothing that couldn't be cleaned up quickly once I started applying highlights. I also applied this burgundy to add a shadow under the sword blade and as a wash over the entire base, with the application being a little heavier between the bricks. I then start to add some highlights, mixing a green that is close to the tone of Plaguebearer flesh and use this to help smooth the transitions between the 2 shades on the skin. I also add some highlights on the darker side, and clean up any particularly bad staining from the burgundy shadows that I added previously. I then mixed a brighter green by adding more yellow to the previous mix, and added this as another highlight, though only to the brighter side of the flesh. I finish up the flesh highlights by mixing one more highlight tone, this time cutting in a little bit of white primer into the previous mix. And this is where I started having trouble. The Vallejo white primer is extremely watery and transparent, which made my green mix very watery and transparent. This made it very difficult to control, and it meant that I had to do a lot of applications for it to make much of a difference. In the video here, it looks like it's noticeable as it goes on, but once it fully dried, it would fade until it was nigh indistinguishable. I spent just under an hour and a half on the flesh in total, and most of that was due to the many highlights having to be done over and over, with the tone mixed with that runny primer. Moving on to the cloth and bones, I started with a highlight of pure yellow. Initially, I already assumed I was going to have to add more contrast paints over these to better distinguish them from the flesh, but for now I trusted in what I had already planned and I just kept moving forward. Mixing that white primer into the yellow, I added another series of multiple highlights. I again added more white primer for a third set of highlights, and continued to build up the brightness where light could reach, but reducing the area I'm covering with each new application. At this point, the bone and clothing still looked the same as the flesh, however I went one step further and added the white primer, unmixed, as my final highlight for these areas. This would finally push the difference just enough. I move on to the leathers, hair, blade, and base next. I figured by keeping these all in the same rough brownish tone it would draw more attention to the flesh. So I first mix a darker brown and use this to add some more shadows. But after that it pretty much had the same highlight steps that I used for the clothing. I made 3 increasingly brighter tones of brown. And for the blade I added one additional edge highlight and scratches, as well as a central light reflection using pure white primer over many applications. Nearing the finish line, I finish out some smaller details such as the eyes by filling the sockets with pure red and then adding a white sclera with that thin runny white primer over multiple coats. For the boils, I just thinned some red with water and gave these a strong dotting, and then highlighted each of these boils with yellow and a small dot of white. I then finished up with the shadow of Gore Grunta Fur contrast paint, then with a little water, to all of the brown areas and the base before blacking out the base rim and calling it a night. This is where I stopped. The things I like the most of this project is the blade and the general overall tones of the green flesh, as well as the face, despite how simplistic of an approach I took. I also felt like I did a pretty good job of cleaning up the mold lines and filling in all the gaps for once. For lessons learned, and though there are a good amount of them, I'll narrow them down to these. First, the Sigval Burgundy was a lot more opaque than I was prepared for, though admittedly this is more of an issue with my inexperience with contrast paints, and ultimately it only cost me a few minutes for some additional cleanup during the highlighting stage. The absolute biggest issue that I had was using a very runny and transparent white primer as a substitute for a basic opaque white acrylic paint. This resulted in many of my highlights being difficult to control and required a lot of applications to become noticeable. In the future, I will not use this primer for a white tone outside of priming. It can be done, it's just not worth the effort, especially if it's just because I'm trying to work from a limited selection of paints. My highlights for the leather and fur especially were not as clean as I wanted, though for the brightest glint on the blade, the thin transparency of the white primer did actually work in my favor. I should have also made the head and face brighter, or the rest of the flesh darker, or maybe added some colored tones into the face. While the skin definitely stands out from the brown elements, the face feels lost in a sea of green from certain angles. And how do I feel about using the new contrast paints? I had no issues, and I don't have any complaints. They do feel very similar to using Army Painter speed paints, though I already expected that. I especially did like how transparent 4 of those 5 tones were right out of the bottle. The only thing I would say is that if you're buying contrast paints for the first time and decide to pick up Gore Grunta Fur, Snakebite Leather, and Plaguebearer Flesh, go ahead and put that Snakebite Leather back on the shelf. I swear it's so similar that if I had known that standing in the store, I would have bought a different color instead. Nothing against it, and I do like the tone, but I don't mind mixing two paints to save a little money. And that'll bring this video to its end. I hope you learned something or inspired to start or expand your own collection of cannibalistic ghouls who serves as bodyguards to the blood-sucking undead nobility that rules him. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, and if you like the content of this video and would like to see more, you can easily support the channel by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. I'm Jim with Working with Miniatures. I'm truly grateful for your time, and I bid you a fond farewell. Until the next video.